Welcome back to the Winner Circle. I'm Derrick.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Cody.
Cody, you have something you want to tell him before we get started? I didn't want to interrupt you this time. What do you want to tell him? Tiffany, hit him. He missed it. He missed it. It's Tiffany. Hit him now.
Remember to like, subscribe, and comment.
That's right. Nailed it. Also, audio, 5-star review. We really appreciate it. Okay, episode 5 of The Traitors. Another action-packed episode. We left episode 4. If you're coming over from that episode, we left it with the altercation, we'll call it, between Cirie and Cody, where Cirie basically calls Cody on the carpet, says, I know you know Ryan Lochte from outside the house. It's Ryan or Kyle tonight. You decide. One of your boys are going home. We see Cody get a little frustrated.
I don't think it was or. I think it was.
There was
it's
no
going to
or.
be Ryan tonight.
Kyle was the one that we wanted, and it switched to Ryan quick. Yeah,
She said,
she got her
I'm
way.
usually cool and laid back in these.
Did she, though? Are we going to just get right into it?
Get right into it.
Who gets murdered? Who gets murdered, Cody?
Who gets murdered?
So, obviously, Ryan, my boy, gets murdered.
Cirie wins.
Yeah, Cirie wins that battle.
Queen, as they would say on Twitter.
I was like, you know what? I got to try to at least save face. Let me just give her what she wants, and then I'll reevaluate. Give her what she wants, reevaluate, see what you're going to do. Coming into the room the next day, I think it was like written on my face. I was miserable. Didn't sleep much that night because we had a long night before. Again, it was like I couldn't sleep. So it was like written all over my face. I feel like everybody that watched me walk in. Yeah, Tiff.
You look bad.
Talk to you, Tiff. What were you thinking when you saw me walk in?
Baby. Ooh, it was, I said, Cody, act like you happy to be alive. Look alive.
Yeah.
You look
Coming
dead.
into breakfast?
Yeah.
How was the breakfast, by the way? Was it good breakfast or was it like
Bro,
TV breakfast?
The English breakfast, their
Salmon?
bacon, I was obsessed. Every morning.
I got hungry every time that segment came on. I was like, I gotta get a snack.
I wish you would have been eating instead of talking.
Yeah, so they had a lot of stuff for us there. Yeah. Yeah. It was tough. I walk in and I'm just, obviously, like, I know how it's all playing out. I know what's going on, and I couldn't even hide it. I just walked in and was like, I'm fucking miserable.
You were beat up.
I was beat up.
You were beat up, for sure.
I was pissed. It was like, I was like, man, at that point.
You made the right move, though. You got to sacrifice Ryan at that point, because now if you fight too hard and you keep him, now you have Cirie and Christian both being like, he definitely knows him and he's a liar. He's got to go.
Yeah.
That's so you have no other option at that point but to allow that to happen.
Because at the end of the day, like, I was close with Ryan and on the show, but like, there was nobody, in my opinion, that I was willing to like not cut. Like, I would have, it all sucked, but I was like, I'll cut. It doesn't matter. Like, we're like, for me, like I was saying last episode or the episode before, episode 3, the Traitors were my team. So I was obviously going to try to do whatever helped the team. And that if it was presented to me in a different way, I could have got on board, because Ryan, again, is a guaranteed faithful. Everybody knew he was a faithful. Everybody thought he, was just there to have fun. So it was like, I could get on board with it if it was presented the right way, but the way it was presented, it seemed like a backstab. And I was like, we're not on the same team. I was like, so now I don't know who my team is. So I walk into breakfast like, my boy's gone. I'm struggling. Who's my team? I'm still a traitor. Everything is like, it's like a tsunami is hitting me. And I'm sitting there just trying to figure out like, I was like, what am I doing next? What is going to go on next? I was like, I don't know how I'm going to go about this. And it's like, this is so fast paced. It's not like that blindside happened to me and then I had 4 days and I could reevaluate, I can chill, and I could strategize. It was like next morning, try to figure it out. And
yeah, man, that's a tough turnaround, because you're constantly
you're double evictions
where
every day.
You are in the game.
Double evictions
and
every day
like,
in Big Brother.
Yep.
I just got blindsided the night before and had to wake up to be on the next morning and was like, I'm just not on. I was like, I'm not on anymore.
You were definitely not on, and I'm going to let Tiffany segue this, because you were definitely not on, and as your ride or die on season 16, I think you're the best Alliance member I could have. You were always on, and yeah, there was a moment on the show where I was like, Cody, and Tiffany almost get onto it now. Yeah,
Okay.
Tiffany hit it last episode, so Tiffany, fire away.
So then Cody is sitting here trying to wrap his mind around he had to kill off somebody who he considered himself to be close to, but not that close that he didn't have to kill him off, because he was ambushed into having to kill him because Cirie was not taking no for an answer. So as you were sitting there, should have been biting into your delicious bacon. Your mouth is free and empty, and you start talking. And you start talking to Kyle, and you say to him, and I'm dying to know where this came from and what your thought process was.
It was said the night before. Like, I didn't make this up. Like on
This
anything.
was spur of the moment. This was planned.
No,
You knew you were going to say this to Kyle? Or you were just sitting there, and because Kyle was sitting next to you, you go, what can I do right now? It's almost, this is what I was thinking. It's almost like I know I'm guilty and I feel like everybody's looking at me even though they're not, and I got to do something. Hey, Kyle, you know what? Ryan told me right before he left that you, Rachel,
Ari?
and who's the third? Ari.
Yeah.
Ari are traitors. Yep. And then you started eating. I said, damn it, you ate too late.
Kyle slick with it too, man.
Smart.
Kyle, you seen his face? Is that dude's smart?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew.
The problem was is that I was lost, didn't know what to do, and I had bonded with Kyle. We were personally close. The thing about Kyle is that Kyle was there to play the game. His personal relationships,
Everybody was.
he didn't care.
Why that moment though? Why that moment what were you thinking in that moment? Was it like a nervous chatter where it's like, I should be saying something? Because I would have rather you had just asked him. If you just needed to say something, I would have rather you been like, damn, why do you think Ryan? What do you think? Like, make him talk, not you.
Yeah. Well, him and I had been talking a lot before what they showed. It's not like we were like sitting silent. I turned out of nowhere. Because it's like, it's like they have to, they're just showing. It wasn't like I was sitting there because there was a lot of moments where I was sitting not saying a word. And it wasn't like I just out of nowhere decided to just, Ryan said this to me last night.
Say something.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was still stupid. It was, we were talking, and it almost was like word vomit. I can't give you a rhyme or a reason. I've come up with reasons. It's like I've rationalized afterwards how it could have, and then I've ultimately come to the decision after the fact where it's like, what purpose did me saying to him that somebody that left mention his name? Like, I can't even wrap my head around, now that my mind is clear. My mind is completely clear. I can't even wrap my head around rationale and strategy that come after me saying that to Kyle. Can either of you like come up with, like, on a whim, try to come up with like, I don't even know what I was trying to do other than just fucking blabbermouth.
It sounded like you were trying to throw him off the scent and maybe tell him something like in Big Brother where you give someone a piece of information as a way of gaining trust and you know he can't go back and confirm with that person because they're evicted. So you're like, hey, I want to tell you this because I'm ride or die with you till the end. And you just hope that they buy it. But I think you misstepped where you didn't realize or you forgot for a second that you and Ryan, your relationship, they were just as close. Mm-hmm. So it would have been the equivalent of, there's nobody on Big Brother, but it would have been the equivalent probably of like season 22, like Nicole and Enzo saying something about one another because you were equally close with both of them. So if Enzo had said to you, Nicole had said this about you, you would know whether it was true or not immediately because you were as tight with Nicole. So it just was the wrong person to choose for that information to be about because even though Ryan was no longer there, Kyle had already decided about Ryan and he knew that that was his dude.
And I kind of think it was the wrong time.
It was bad.
It was
of course.
It was a time when everybody's looking for something suspicious.
Right.
And
because they were getting it wrong. They've been getting it wrong
up
constantly.
until this point. It's not shown to us that you had been sharing a lot of information. And so if I'm Kyle, I am thinking just like him. Why in this moment did Cody decide to reveal this information to me? Yeah. Because I'm looking for something anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
I wish I had like a premeditated.
I think it was bad timing.
It wasn't even like I'm reflecting back to it. I didn't think about that the night before. I didn't think about that when I woke up. In that moment, I just was like, I'm just saying this. It was ultimately like, I'm just saying this to Kyle. And the bad thing about it was, one, it was 100% said. Kyle took it in terms of like, almost like maliciously.
Wait, when you keep saying that, did Ryan actually say that to you?
So we were at the bottom of the stairs.
Whoa,
oh yeah,
he
100% said that to me. I didn't make that up.
So this wasn't something you made up,
and
though.
he said it not just to me. He said it in front of the girl Amanda. It was Amanda, myself, and Ryan.
Oh,
and so there was only one person that could be like, he did say it, and I wasn't going to go to her and do that.
Yep.
I wasn't going to do that because I didn't want her to think like, oh, he's trying to drag me down with him. So
this wasn't a lie.
No, it was
this
not
actually
a lie.
was said.
It does seem like a lie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Seems like a lie. It seems made up damn near on the spot. It seems like nervous chatter, and it seems like I'm trying to CYA. For those of you who know what that means, you know what I'm saying.
Cover your ass.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not going to get
No,
demonetized.
I was,
We're good.
Okay.
I just was like losing it. But it was like, Ryan had said that he said it to Amanda and I. It wasn't false. The way that he said it was like, we had no idea what was going on. We just got another faithful out at the round table. And I was like with him and I'm standing there. I'm like, bro, like, what do you think? Like, I was like, I am lost. I was like, I know it's not you. I was like, but other than that, I was like, I'm lost. And he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, he's like, the people that I think could be a traitor are like Ari, Kyle, Rachel. It wasn't like, I know they're traitors. He was.
I'm
like,
surprised they didn't flashback. There was no cameras on you when you guys were talking about it?
No, because after the round table, it wasn't like the cameras were like up in our grill because you would leave the round table and go into the one room. And so we were standing and I'm trying to think, we were right at the bottom of the steps. Like we're at the bottom of the steps. I'm standing there with Ryan and Amanda. We're talking about it. And I'm trying to think, like, I don't even think there's cameras in that area, which should have, if I was on, it would have been like, don't bring up something that like nobody can even give that storyline to you. To be like, oh no, Cody isn't lying. It was said. To be like flashback. But it's like, I don't even know what the purpose was. Like, what's my rationale?
I left that segment thinking you just made that up.
No, I didn't.
That's on it until this moment. I thought you made it up.
But when he was at the round table, and I might be jumping, sorry if I am, but at the round table, he looks Kyle dead in his eyes and says that Ryan definitely said that to me. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe you did.
And by the way,
no,
we're knocking you right now. We're knocking you right now, but I do want to get to that too. We want to hit a couple of things in between, but I thought you did very well at the round table, honestly. I thought you did very well.
Well, we missed the competition,
I'm knocking you right now because I just was like, even when I first saw you turn and start talking to Kyle, I go, what is Cody? Because I'm watching with Chada and I'm like, what is Cody doing? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, what is he saying? What is he saying? What is he doing? What is going on?
But hey, dude, honestly, it makes perfect sense
and
though.
The funny thing was after I said it to him, he like jumps up and I literally had to read on him immediately. I'm like, ooh, I fucked up.
So then you go outside.
Yeah, you went outside.
So you go outside. You look like you smoking a cigarette, but you're not. You just like you
knew
outside like I messed up.
You're a great player at these games. And ultimately what happened is exactly what we've laid out over these last 3 episodes. You were doing okay, struggling with the idea of playing the game you were playing, but you were doing okay because you had your core. You had Suri, you had Christian. When she hit you with that, even though it probably wasn't the intention, she completely threw you off.
Yeah, she wasn't intentionally trying to do that. She was just trying to get her way.
You were off the track, but there was an additional effect for her, which was advantageous to her game, where a great player like Cody is now on tilt. And you woke up the next morning not with a clear head, and you went in there and you did something that's completely out of character based on all the other shows we've seen you play on. So it had an impact on you, which now having that layout, the foundation of what you've laid out the last 2 episodes, it makes a lot more sense why you did it. But I do want to talk about the roundtable. We should hit just quickly. We don't got to go crazy. Ryan did go home. You already said that. You had to do it. The church competition. I don't know if we got to go crazy on this one.
No.
You guys sucked at it. The other team was great.
My group
you didn't solve a single thing. The competition was it was whatever. I wasn't like super impressed with it. I mean,
it's the Kate and Rachel drama for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Now they're on the same team.
They're on the same team. Yes.
And they're like,
and
they're
Kate's like,
heads.
Rachel is annoying. And I want to say this, like, I do actually love Rachel, and I got to meet her face to face at Hearts, and she to me seems like in person, and I've talked to her on the phone, just like a sweet, bubbly, energetic person. But I understand in a game setting, it's kind of like the Christian factor. Like you be doing too much and I just right now I don't feel like that. And I think that's how Kate feels about Rachel. But she's so mean. She's like, stupid Rachel. I was like, not stupid. Nah, she ain't.
Kate, like the one thing Kate said, like Rachel walks in and like Kate said something to her about like, she's like, you don't trust me. She's like, well, I don't trust your fashion decisions. And I was like, yo, everything's just personal. I'm like, Kate she just has it out for her. And so it was like,
Kate,
but yeah, I think
that was,
you know,
Rachel and Kate made a lot of the season.
yeah, the
you know, that
drama.
whole dynamic. I mean, that was
drama
covered
of that.
heavily on the show. We definitely knew that relationship. Kate was great TV. I briefly remembered her on Below Deck years ago. I didn't watch Below Deck, you know, consistently, but man, she just doesn't care, and which is great because she wanted to go home. So she was like, I'm gonna do whatever. But the church comp, you guys got blown out. But again,
money
everyone
goes
kind of
into
gets
the pot,
money,
so it doesn't matter.
and money goes in the pot. So
We were
back to what I
competing
keep
against
saying,
one
it's like,
another only to put that same money in the pot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like they beat you, but you get you get all that money if you win at the end. So
Yeah.
whatever, we've already talked about it. So we are at the round table. I think we end it with the Cody Kyle combo,
Oh, yeah.
but there was also, like you guys said, the Rachel Kate battle at the table too. And again, their dynamic each week was crazy. The irony was neither one of them were traitors, but they both felt very strongly that they were. So that was always funny
Yeah.
to see their dynamic. But yeah, you're sitting at the round table.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know going into the round table that night that I'm gonna have to put some gloves on? Do you know that, or are you
No.
prepared for it?
No idea. I just knew that
So you don't
people
know.
were starting to mention Kyle's name. And so I was like,
Kyle's name as a traitor,
as a traitor.
not
again-
that he was gonna maybe call you out.
Because I was in the conversation with people who are starting to doubt Kyle now. So I'm like, all
Okay.
right, like I wanted Kyle out last night. This is perfect. Like we get Kyle out tonight. He's obviously going to be a faithful, like, but the names were coming up. Nobody was mentioning my name. Nobody.
As far as you know,
No, well, Kyle was. Kyle was always skeptical of me. And
Yep.
that's where like my name starts coming up after I slip up, right? So now we're at the round table, and Kyle was like frantic beforehand. He wasn't, that round table isn't the way that he was planning on going about it at first. Then all of a sudden,
where he started, his name kept
his
coming
name
up.
kept coming up before the round table. And he was like, oh my God, like, wait a minute, am I going to get voted out tonight? And so then he started like frantically running around. And there were people that just were questioning Kyle, like that Kyle had no idea of. Andy, Ari. He was like, what is happening right now? And then I think I put the nail in the coffin. Him and I going back and forth was way longer than what they showed. Oh, it was way longer.
It seemed like it was a longer conversation, but I gotta tell you, because call it what it is, I felt like he came at you with some good points.
Yeah.
And he had said, you know, he's bringing up your past game experience. And I felt like your response where it's like, listen, if you had watched the show, you would know that that's how I was. I wasn't like that on the show. And I almost thought you were going to say, like, as far as like loyalty and stuff like that, that's what I'm known for, not being deceptive.
I
That's
had
my
said
biggest
that
crutch.
early in the year when everybody was talking about the Big Brother, how players could do that. I was like,
You have to. It's like you're known for not being that guy.
and
for not
Shelby,
being the
who was there, was like, she confirmed it. She was like, oh no, that is, Cody is not the backstabber. Cody's the loyal one.
he's the loyal guy.
And
He
so
was straight up.
that's why stuff kind of dialed down about me. But then Kyle was bringing up this stuff. And the reason why I got him on that, when he brought up, like, why'd you say that about Ryan? Because I said in the group at the table, I was like, there's somebody else here that he said it in front of. I will never call them out because I am not going to do that to that person to put them on the spot and bring attention their way. If they choose to speak up, speak up. I was like, but not one other person in this house did I say that to. And I went around the whole table. I was like, did I say anything to you? They were like, no, I never heard that. I was like, because I wasn't trying to say it to you, Kyle, to try to throw you off. I'm trying to find the traitors, bro. And you're causing a scene now. And he like kind of
and they couldn't show that because they didn't have the Andy conversation. They didn't have the Amanda
They
conversation.
didn't have that conversation with Ryan. So they didn't,
Yeah.
it's like they couldn't even clip to, oh no, Cody's not lying. But it's like, why would they? I'm a traitor. I'm not trying to exonerate myself. And so the way that I went at him made everybody be
was a
like,
good response.
made everybody be like, whoa, oh no, there's no way. And then it comes to like, and then Kyle like kind of pissed me off because then he kind of like mocked me a little bit. And that's when like, I like grilled him in his face. And I was like, bro, don't be condescending to me and don't talk down to me because I'm a man and I talk to you like a man. So you better talk to me the same way.
Oh, they cut all this
They cut
out.
all that out. And
because,
then
because there's a, oh, go ahead.
No, it's just there was so much between Kyle and I because Kyle's like passionate.
We need Traitors. We need the unedited version of that. We need a
Kyle
longer
was-
clip.
Well,
Put it out on
because
social.
what-
We need
Kyle
we
also
see-
pointed at Christian again in that whole thing. It wasn't just me. It was like, I think Christian's a traitor too. And Kyle had this whole plan that he was like, I'm close with Cody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in with Cody, who I think is a traitor. I'm going to go after Christian and then I'm going to go after Cody. He had this whole plan, which was brilliant. But he just he got short-winded because out of nowhere the tide turned on him.
And he went out a champ at the round table.
Well,
You can't come at me at the round tables. I'm always prepared, bro. I'm ready for the round tables.
He has a very valid point of, I can't really bring up who I want to bring up, because if I don't have enough votes to get that person out, then I am just painting a target on me with that person. But I was gonna say, like, you're saying that all of this conversation that we didn't get to see was had, but what we saw was, I think it's Stephanie saying to you, like, you actually look guilty. You're not saying much. You're carrying yourself as a person who has something to hide, and you're not being vocal. So at what point do you open up and have this conversation with Kyle? Is it after Stephanie brings to your attention that you look guilty, or because
no, she mentions that at the round table because she's on Kyle's. She's on board with Kyle at that round table.
When were you and Kyle having this back and forth? Wasn't that at the round table?
This is at the round table.
Yeah, I think it was she brought that up in between.
Yeah,
right?
What I'm doing right now is, I know I'm giving a lot of information. This is all the stuff that they didn't show. Like, there was a lot of back and forth between Kyle and I that ultimately.
Did Stephanie interject during that? Is that when she said that comment?
And she said, she goes, and Stephanie, I have a great relationship with Stephanie. She's great. She was seeing me and being like, so she was on another show previously, which has now aired. It's like, it was on USA. It was a show with Rachel, Janelle, Stephanie, and Sheree. They were all on this
Snake
show.
in the Grass?
Snake in the Grass. Mm-hmm. And Stephanie had to be the snake, I guess. And she was like going through it. And she was always equating what I was going through, having a lie, I see all over your face.
Okay.
So
she wasn't wrong.
And she's like, I see it all over your face because one.
So then it seems like something
clicks
clicks in you and you're like, yeah, let me shake that off. So anyway, Kyle, I am not lying.
Yeah. So it was like, I was looking at Steph and I was like, one, it just was, yo, your back's up against the wall right now. You got to not only convinced to not get your name, but you need to like squash your name going forward. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't have people thinking it's you, not just tonight, because the game isn't over. If you make it through this round table, the game's not over. So it was a lot. And I was like, oh shit, man, I'm slipping. But it was like, okay, Kyle's going to go. And
he doesn't leave quietly.
No.
He planted a nice seed.
Yeah, he planted a great seed. The thing that I again, it's like they don't show it. Kyle, when he's sharing that he's a faithful, he's like, Cody, like, I really hope we could be friends after this. Because again, Kyle and my bond we were tight. But he was playing the game. And I said something that tipped him off. And he's not going to be like, well, I really like Cody. He's going to be like, no, I want to find the fucking traitors. I'm sick of getting it wrong. Yeah. Kyle's a winner. Like, in my opinion, he doesn't have that like go with the flow personality. He's like, I want to figure it out because I don't want to lose. I don't want to be made to look stupid because he's very intelligent. And so he was like, I think it was bothering him. And then when all of a sudden he got the aha moment of, oh my God, no, Cody's a traitor. I still do think Christian's a traitor. He had mentioned Sheree early. He had mentioned Christian early, and then I gave away it's Cody too. So it's like he had the three and was ready to go at it, but he wanted to do it like kind of long-winded. And he needed preparation. He needed people to be on his side to get it at the round table.
Because just bringing somebody up at round table but not getting the votes is not the way. It's not the play.
And he understood that, which is why I love Kyle. His gameplay. He was really good at this game.
That's something people don't realize. It's hard to do in these games because we're playing as humans and we are ourselves. And so you take the game but then you also are taking yourself in. And so some people are able to disassociate their emotions from how I feel about you as a person versus how I feel about wanting to win this game.
Yes.
And you seem like me, like we go in with our hearts and we care about people and I want to win, but I care about people. And some people are like, I care about you, but I care more about why I'm here and I'm here to win. Yeah. So that's Derrick. Derrick, go play that game and win us some money.
No, I will. Traitors for me. Honestly, Traitors, I will say the reason, because you get the itch, especially when you like the show. There's no strategy to that game. It's kind of a lot of luck, and it's just doing and hoping that you just don't get noticed. And anybody who's ever won a show before, I think it would be impossible for you to win, because at some point, common sense would be you just take a shot at them, banish them, and if they're not the traitor, they're going home. So it's one less person to worry about. I will say one more thing about the game format. If anybody's listening, I do feel like when you identify a traitor, that week there shouldn't be a murder. it should weaken the traitors where they don't get to send someone home. So if you get the traitors a couple weeks in a row, you could go 3 weeks without someone getting murdered. Because I think about it as a detective, if I figured out who the traitors were, I'd want to know I can get out one tonight. They can't murder me tonight because now they're weakened for 1 week. I'm going to get the other two out before they get to murder someone again. So I'm staying because they would go after you if you figured it out.
I feel like they need to decrease the amount of people, because what if somebody like Kyle had the 3 people pegged?
Yep.
And so what if that is a strategy? At that point, there might have been like...
He'd be going home that night. He would have got you out or Christian out, and then Suri and whoever was left would have got him out.
Yeah, true.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't get to carry out like Kyle could be like, listen, if he sat there and said, listen, trust me, guys, it's Cody, Christian, and Suri. And they're like, you know what, Kyle? We believe you. Christian, you're gone tonight. You and Suri would have went into the turret and sent him home.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he would have been out.
But they wouldn't have, because then
but he couldn't have, because then it's like
look guilty.
You're almost like being like
they're
going after who's calling or devil's advocate. It could be like,
or the traitors, the actual traitor sent him home. Yes.
Or it could be the devil's advocate. The traitors could be like, oh, if we send him, they're going to think it's these 2 people, and we're going to hammer 2 faithfuls that are definitely not traitors. Like, Kyle could have been wrong. It just so happens that he was spot on with who we thought the traitors were.
No, it was a good episode. I thought you handled yourself well. I thought you saved yourself because you had a tough morning, but you had a great afternoon where you said it like, hey, when I get that moment, but I have to defend myself. You were factual. You were to the point. You looked them square in the face, and it came off as believable. Yeah. So you survived another week. A lot of people,
after that, people came to me and were like, Cody, I can't believe Kyle came at you the way that he did. I definitely think you're a faithful. And these were people that I hadn't really built crazy trust with, but I felt like I did good. But again, my mental state was, I wasn't done yet. I wasn't done yet.
You pulled something a little bit out of you for that moment, but you still weren't you.
Because the thing is like me as a person, I'm like, I won't back down. So it's like, I could be struggling and everything, but if there's someone coming at me, it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, switch on, bro. I'm not still that same person that is struggling emotionally and mentally if you're coming at me. No. Now I'm on my feet. I'm ready to fight.
Yeah.
Like I'll do that any day of the week.
What is it? Fight or flight?
Fight or flight. And I'll never fight.
You're fighting.
I'm fighting every time. And so it was like in that moment, I was able to snap me back up.
Yeah.
But it was like,
you could tell
in that round table that night, I've talked about this, and it's something that like I don't think a lot of people know about me. I have these tics. I do this like head tick, and it's something that I've had my entire life. And it's like a nervous tick, or sometimes it's like when I'm uncomfortable, I really tick a lot. Okay. And you can see it in that round table, which I'm not really ashamed of it. It's, it's
dude, I've known you for 7 years. I've never noticed it.
You've never noticed it. And you got to watch it back.
He's not nervous around you, Derrick. You make him feel very comfortable.
People when I'm comfortable, but I appreciate you, bro. That's when I was watching and I was like, I'm really falling apart. Cause like I'm watching cause now we see Alan comes in to the Traitors turret and tells us that there's no murder and we're going to be nominating 3 people. And when he comes in,
well, who went home? We didn't even say who went home.
Oh, well, Kyle.
Kyle.
I thought we mentioned that.
Kind of, because he said Kyle goes home. I said, and he doesn't go home without
that's true.
planting a seed.
Yeah, Kyle goes home. So there was a battle there.
Yeah.
And he went against
there was a battle there, and there was enough people. But I knew also going into that there was a bunch of people that were already questioning Kyle. So I was like, just bury him. I was like, you just got to bury him, because the people that are questioning him are going to vote for him anyway. But he put the seed
Alan comes in. What were you saying? Because
Alan comes in, and pretty much we're in the turret, and I'm like, my face is pale. Like, you got to go back and watch. This is where you can see. This is where I at least was watching him. Was like, you needed to go, or else you were gonna lose your mind. Because like he comes in, my hands are on my face. I'm like, I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like ticking.
You did.
I'm like ticking. So that's where my tick is. I'm like ticking. And I'm like going through it, and it's like I couldn't get myself together, because like he comes in, and I'm like,
Cody.
what is happening? And so it was like that's how I knew I was really losing it. Like I've had these things my whole life. I've been on Big Brother for 90-something days 2 times, and nobody's ever been aware of it. And my dad was like the first thing he said to me, he goes, "Dude, you're ticking on the show. Your ticks are back."
Yeah.
And I was like, shit.
And then there's a difference. Like Big Brother's like long con game. This one was happening very fast paced.
Yeah.
It's if we were having a HOH and eviction every day, you'd have been ticking every day.
I probably would have been a mess. I would have been a wreck. Because I'm a wreck at the beginning of both seasons that I played Big Brother. I was a wreck. at the beginning of the season.
But then you get to calm down. You get used to it and
there's
get into
weeks,
it.
Yeah, it's like stretched out.
Yeah.
This was like day, and it was like, whoa. I was like, I am.
Yeah.
So just for any of you out there that are going to be traitors in the future, come in locked
ready
in.
for it. Well, you kind of segued there too to kind of wrap up the show. Alan comes in. There's a twist. The twist kind of gets revealed next episode, which is going to be episode 6. So as always, make sure you guys subscribe, notifications on. There was one final thing in this episode. We're going to hit it super quick. Amanda went home. We're not going to say why. That's her story to tell. Amanda goes home on the show. They make it very quick. That's all you got to say about it. Just don't plan on us talking about her going forward. So this right now should be episode 5 for this week. We're going to try to do 6, 7, at least maybe 8 next week. So you're going to get at least 2 episodes, maybe 3 for next week. So stick tuned for that. Any final words from you guys?
Nope. I hope
I'm
you guys are
enjoying
enjoying
the show. I'm enjoying the show. No spoilers, guys.
You haven't
Please.
watched the rest. You're on episode 6, Tiffany,
Yes,
right?
me and Chad are about to keep binging. Yes.
Okay, you gotta finish it because it gets good. It gets good.
Oh,
You
it's already good.
For those of you who know, Cody's like, yeah, it gets great. But we appreciate you guys joining us here on the Winner Circle. We will see you next week.